I'm out of breath. I just came running from downstairs. And got the music, the future pop on. Turn it down a little bit. Anyway, happy Friday, everybody. I'm Ian Hopfe, your dangerously unscripted HR pro. And this is Friday Fun and Games. Grab your tea and settle in. My tea's almost gone. Today, we're talking about what games secretly teach us about real life. We'll start with why American-style football feels political and what that has to do with power and territory at work. Then, we'll jump into video games, D&D board games, how they actually train your brain to think more strategically and creatively. If you've ever wondered why games, if you've ever wondered whether games are just for fun or a legit life skill, stick around. Tell me your favorite game in the chat. Let's get rolling. Let's get this show on the road. Let's get this road on the show. That's more better. Whew, still gotta catch my breath. Sorry. I just ran downstairs. I was gonna talk about this game later on, and I forgot to bring it up with me. So I had to run back down. It's already late. There's a bunch of hater trolls over on TikTok, and the clips I'm posting from my lives over there seem to be triggering negative Nelly, I don't know, just haters. They just have to write something, and I had to do like a little bit of a rebuttal video, but I don't want to respond to the trolls, to the haters, to the uninformed commenters, right? Not that type of guy. Every bad comment hits me, cuts me hard, right? So, I don't know. I got 4 topics related to what I just talked about. Right, we're going to talk about football strategy and power. Number 2 topic, we're going to talk about games that train your brain. And those are kind of related from last Friday. So I just kind of want to continue the conversation because I thought they were good topics. Topic number 3, D&D at the office, right? Talking about role-playing games to help your teams. Game nights as culture building, right? This is more than just games at work. This is arranging your whole team to have some game nights, employee game nights. I mean, remember, don't make this stuff mandatory. As soon as you say it's mandatory and everyone has to be there, it means you have to pay them all, possibly overtime. Right? If they don't want to go to a game night, they don't have to go to a game night. That's absurd. Forcing someone to do team building after hours is a red flag. Something on my shirt here is a red flag, and I would be planning to leave that organization. Anyway, speaking of my t-shirt, this is one of my new t-shirt designs. In space, HR can't hear you scream. Woo! One of my favorite shirts. This is my design. I created it. It's kind of a homage to the original Alien movie, where in space they can't hear you scream. But I'm thinking about work. HR can't hear you scream in space either. So, anyway, and at the end, last week I talked about Gloom, the card game Gloom, and this week I want to talk about Smash Up if we have time. This is a fun game too. This is different from gloom. It's not as dark and sadistic. So, yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about football strategy and power. Whoa. Why is it doing that? Oh my god. No, just like this menu thing keeps popping up when I'm trying to go in and kind of edit my show note a little bit so I can read it better. And this other menu just kept popping up. Really bizarre. Anyway, football is, when I talked about it, every play changes the game. It changes the fundamentals of the game, right? As we gain territory or we lose territory, our strategy changes, right? We're running it, we're throwing it, we're bringing a special team, we're kicking it, right? We got all these different decisions and options and plays we could do, and it's depending on how much territory, aka resources, we have. It's, and how many downs we have, how many turns we get. Those are also resources, right? So, and I'm not going to make an argument between Canadian and American football, right? I don't know why Canadian football players, they should be way better than American football players. Because the field is longer and the end zones are smaller, right? Whereas in American football, the field's smaller and the end zones are giant. But I think the thing is the market, right? Between 40 million people living in Canada and almost 400 million people living in the United States, what's the talent pool there, right? You have 10 times the talent pool. So we can see the differences there. But when we're thinking about football or some sort of any game, really, right? But it becomes political because now we're at a certain point. We have to make decisions on what we're doing next. And that's the same with business. It's the same with small business. It's the same with HR, my job, right? We've got certain goals we got to get done. And with business, you are constantly learning, failing, tweaking, changing strategy, pivoting, right? Like all the stuff happens with a small business. And it's that's why some some workplaces, it feels like you're always just defending your own end zone, right? Like you're not progressing. All you're doing is just on defense, trying to keep the lights on, trying to keep the competition from running you out of town, right? Like it feels like we put ourselves in that position more often than not, especially with a small business. We talk about small business and how they most of them fail within 5 years and things like that, right? Are they using the resources properly? And this is my HR advice when I'm talking to a small business and the business owner is thinking of hiring the first employee or another employee. I advise them to hire somebody that is going to generate revenue for the business directly. So a salesperson, something like that, or a client-facing person that will free you up as the owner, the manager, to do other things, build the business. I would advise against getting like a back-end admin person who's going to handle paperwork, because they immediately become an expense. So that's a defense move, right? You're just trying to get yourself organized. You're not getting out there. You're not making the next play for the next customer, the next client, the next sale, right? That's the offense. And you're never going to make it down the field if you don't have offense, right? You can't always just have a defense team, because it's a costly way to play, right? All you're doing is just trying to slow down the demise of your organization, right? I feel small business owners tend to they're scared to give up that offensive role. They think they're the only ones that can do the offense. They're the only ones that can make the revenue for the organization. So they don't want to give up those roles. They don't want to hire a new salesperson. They don't want to hire any other client-facing person. They would rather have someone just helping them at the back end. This is the wrong way to go, in my opinion, because a small business owner, you need to duplicate yourself. By duplicating yourself, you're creating other players doing the offense, right? So take a chance, get a salesperson. You need to rigorously train your offenders. No, your offensive team, right? If you're gonna be going on the attack, these people need to be trained in your business. If you think you're the only one who can do it, then you need to do everything in your power to make sure that person has all your skills and all your drive and the willingness to go above and beyond like you are. Now, the truth is, they are never going to be 100% you. No way, shape, or form. You become the captain on the field, and you have players. They have their roles. They have their limited skills. You are constantly drilling them, training them, trying to move them forward on that line. But the more you have with you to go on offense, the better. Even if every new person you bring onto your team is only 75% of you. So if you can make, 100 sales a month, and the people that you bring on can only do 75 sales per month, that is still a good place to be. You're never going to get that much. Occasionally, you might find a rock star that is just blows everything out of the water, right? And that's your unicorn. That's your rock star. That's what you're looking for. But those people won't appear, or those people won't develop themselves enough to get to that point unless you're a good leader and you've created a good organization. Right? So Training. If you can get, 10 people all doing 75% of what you can do, you're gonna kill it, right? That is going to be an amazing team. You no longer have to be on the field. You can be the coach, right? All you're doing is training. You're training these new people. You're hoping a rock star is going to rise up and become the new team captain, right? You want a good team built, and you can only do that through training. And that's whether sports or business or whatever department you're in your business. The only way your team is going to get better is if you train them. Part of that is actively doing the work. You don't want to hire somebody and put them in training for 6 months with no on the field experience, right? But you also don't want to hire somebody, give them 2 minutes of training and say, go at it. There's like onboarding. This is what the business is about. This is specifically what your role is going to be. These are the other people you're working with. This person and or me is going to be training you all week. You're not going to be talking to a client yourself. You're just going to listen to us do it. Right? You're going to get that experience, but you're just listening. Next week, we will get you on the phone yourself. But for half those days, you will also be taking additional sales training that we have set up for you. And whether that's pre-recorded training or you come in again, for the mornings or the afternoons, and you're sitting down answering their questions, trying to make them better. And then monthly, we're going to run you through some more sales training. And weekly, we're going to have a sales meeting, and people are going to give their tips on how they made all their sales this week and stuff like that, right? It is the same thing. A good sports team is all about training. You don't get better by just playing in the game. You get some valuable experience. Maybe you're going to have some fabulous failures until you get good. But it's all about the training, man. 2-a-days, man. You're doing 2-a-days training, right? That's what you need. That's the drive you need. When you think you're stuck on your own 10-yard line, right? And you just can't get out of that defense mode. Think creative. Figure out, how do you get back into offense? What role, what skill are you doing do you need to multiply? And that's the one you need to train first. If it's just some paperwork in the back end, you as the owner, you're going to do that in the evenings. You're going to do that on the weekend. You're doing your own work still to keep the organization going. But you stop being the only person on offense. You become the person in the back end, right? And once you've multiplied yourself, you got a handful of players on the field doing the offense for you, and the organization is making money, right? Like, then you start thinking about the back end, and you start thinking which tasks can you take away from you so that you can spend more time training your offense team, right? And that's kind of how you go from now on. Before you get a bunch of back end people, you make sure you multiply your front end even more. And, you know, what's that look like? If you're in a sales organization and you're making sales and people are calling people, I mean, that's just getting more salespeople. As long as the salespeople are making sales, you can get more salespeople. Right? A salesperson, their goal is just to make money for the organization. So if you got a salesperson and they're not making money for the organization, you know, I tend to be a bad salesperson when I'm making these calls. And you know, you got to train more on that salesperson, or you got to get more salespeople, right? And you got to get rid of the salesperson that isn't cutting it. If you have a good team and you got a bad salesperson on the team, maybe that's the person you move to the back office. They're not going to make any sales bonuses anymore, and their base pay might be lower, but you didn't have to fire that person, and that person still understands your business. They have the organizational knowledge, right? So I was getting to a point, and I think I sidetracked myself. What it looks like in organization. So, say you own a convenience store. You spend half your day running the till, serving customers. You need someone else in that role so that maybe you can open up the second till, so that during rush hour you have your main employee who's doing their job at till number 1, but you come in during rush hour and you open the second till. You're not that primary person doing the work. Like some organizations, you think, I'm going to run till number 1 as the owner, and I'm going to hire a part-timer to come in 3 hours a day and just open up the second till. No, it should be the other way around. Because when you're not running the till, you now have time to run your business instead of working in your business. There's a difference between running a business and working in the business. A lot of mom and pop organizations, it's mom and pop running the store. They might be fine with that. And when they decide to retire, maybe they sell the store, or they just give up their lease on the location. Or maybe if they purchased the building and the land, maybe they sell the business as they retire, right? That's fine. But if you're like, I want to open up 5 convenience stores across the city, all right? You got to have other people working the stores. Your first store, so you started running it, starts to get busy. You hire someone to run the till. You run the second till during rush hours, and that frees up the rest of your day to start setting up the next store, right? Or tweaking the product line you're selling. If there's something that just doesn't sell ever, well, put it on sale and get rid of it and never purchase it again, right? If you notice something is selling out all the time, order more, right? You've got time to look at your sales data to see what people in that area are loving, right? It becomes a template for your next store, but you got to remember every location that you open up, it's in a different area. So there's going to be different products that the locals love. So as you open up a new store, you're going to be tweaking your product line just a little bit. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there. I'm sure we can agree that's always going to be a big sale, like Coke and Pepsi and things like that. It's just, you're always going to sell those things. But the Dr. Peppers, the root beers, right? That's a different story. Oh, something in my throat. So in this case, you become the person building your business. You now have time to think about marketing your convenience store and doing that marketing stuff, perfecting your marketing stuff, perfecting your sales that might come out of good marketing, right? Oh, I don't know what's in my throat right now. Sorry, everybody. So, this idea of thinking about a sports team as your business, I mean, it makes perfect sense. You got to be on offense in order to build your business. You can't just get a bunch of defenders working in the back office, right? You can't be the only player on the field and have just this massive locker room of people that don't come on the field with you. So, yeah, let's move on from this football analogy. I'm thinking about topic number 2 is I want to talk about games that train your brain, from Zelda to SimCity to Civ and Civilization 5 and Stellaris, right? These are a strange way for some of us to relax. I just want to play my video game and relax. I got news for you, buddy. You are not relaxing. You are engaging your brain like nothing else. Like nothing else in your life. When you're playing those video games, your brain is super active. Games aren't passive, right? If you're sitting down and watching a movie, you might enjoy the movie, but you start to doze off, maybe you sleep and miss half the movie, even though it's your favorite movie, it's your comfort movie. You watch it just for that reason, just so you can fall asleep, right? But when you're playing a video game, I mean, if you fall asleep during playing a video game, you are tired, go to bed. But we might spend long periods of time playing a video game and our brain is just going, right? We've got first shooter games, working your hand-eye coordination, and you're thinking about where all the enemy are and how you can sneak around them, and just doing them crack shots all of a sudden, being able to see the whole HUD, the information that you're showing, the radar showing where everyone is, your ammo down at the bottom, and you maybe got your headphones on and you're talking to your teammates and you're like, where are you? I'm going up the water tower now, get ready. Like there's stuff going on. So I find it uninformed to tell someone that they're wasting their life playing video games. They are actively engaging their brains. I always mention my buddy Johnny. He looks very unsuspecting, right? He's just a guy. He's just a dude, right? He makes funny deadpan jokes every now and again. Has a great laugh. But you sit him down to play a video game, he is dangerous. He is the most dangerous person in the room, right? While you're playing that video game, or playing that board game, or playing that card game, or something like that, his brain just goes into this super strategy mode, and he just, I don't know what's going on with his brain, but it just seems like he can see, you know, like all of a sudden he can see everything, like the video game. He can see all the data. He saw the cards, what you played, or the move you did. And he knows exactly what you're gonna do, and he's just gonna come out and counter move you, and it is so annoying, right? But he's got this amazing brain for strategy, and it just blows me away, because I think I'm a smart fellow. He just makes me look like an idiot when it comes to games, right? And I mean, I guess that's why I enjoy playing games with him. I know it's going to be a real challenge for me. Let's see what my notes say here. You know, strategy is systems thinking, decision making, and when you think about games like Civilization, Stellaris, SimCity, they're world building strategy games. I need to do this in order to increase that, which allow me to do this third thing, but then I got to go back to this first thing. And you're building this building, you're creating this resource, you're mining this, you're increasing your population, you're building that military unit or whatever, right? There's a lot going on. And that's systems thinking and strategy. Take it as a template for your small business, for your side hustle, you know, like for whatever you're doing in your work. Like, remember that there's some sort of way you can improve what you're doing to go from just an okay employee to that rock star. You can do that. Or your small business from owner operator to 5 locations, right? There is a system that you can put together to help you do all that. And certainly if you're thinking about the video games, right? Same thing. I'm by myself, I'm in my store, I'm working by myself. What's the first thing I need to do? I need to make more money so that I can do other things. So I need to increase sales. Well, how do I do that? I either spend money with ads or I start some marketing. I'm in the store 12 hours a day. I'm the only one working. How do I start my marketing? And do I have money at this point to put into advertising? Right. Here's the strategy. Here's the conundrum. So let's start off with something easy. Let's hire somebody. They will be their full-time employee. And I will support them during rush hour so that we are able to create an amazing customer service situation. But when I'm not helping them during rush hour, opening up till number 2, right? I am full on marketing. I am walking up and down my street. I'm meeting with all the owners of every other business on the street and saying, how can we support each other? Right? Come up with some fun idea. Tell the other business owner, what is your average sale amount per customer? And they'll say, each customer that walks in the store gives us an average of $25. So, and you're like, all right, I'm going to give you this discount card for my store for $1 off, $5 off, whatever, percentage off if you want. And it's going to say, you'll get this discount at this store if you purchase this amount, right? Okay, that's your thing. So the other store owner, he's like, my average sale is $25 per customer. Obviously, he wants to increase that. So you tell him every time a client, one of your customers, makes a sale at twice that amount, you give them this discount card. But don't give it to them unless they purchase twice what your normal sale amount is, because you're trying to support that other business. And that's basically what your card says too. Right? So they make a sale, their customer spends twice what their normal sale is. So instead of $25, they spend $50. Then their staff says, you get this bonus card, or there's a little poster that says, get a bonus card when you purchase $50 or more, right? Here is the bonus card. And it's for your store, your location. But the card says, get this discount, whatever it is, an amount or a percentage, if you purchase this much or more. Again, your location, you might be, the average person who comes into my convenience store spends $20. Your card is going to say, get X amount of dollars off if you purchase $40 at my location, right? So you have this ability to help your fellow business owners in your area increase their sale amount, their average sale amount, and when that happens, their customer becomes your customer, and you get an opportunity to also increase your average sale amount, right? And that's awesome. Now imagine you've talked to 10 local businesses that are within a couple blocks of your location. All right. So now you got 10 business partners in your area. So now you can get creative. If every one of those businesses has one of those discount cards like you have, they're one-time use, right? Now you're not saying, my average sale is $20, you get a bonus at $40. Now you're going to say, if you purchase $80 worth of stuff at my store location, you get the local coupon bonus pack from all 10 locations. Well, minus yours. 9 locations, right? Well, I guess we were talking about 10 other businesses, right? So if there's 11 of you in this deal, and all of you now give out the bonus to the other 10 businesses in this deal. Like the other fellow, their business was average sale $25. They were getting one discount card at $50. Now they can save $75, $100, spend $100, and you get this local coupon pack for all these other businesses, right? And they're all simple little things saying, purchase X amount of dollars and get this bonus, this discount, this free item, whatever you want to put in there, right? Everybody has an opportunity now to make more than their average sale, right? So, that's just one idea. That's what I would be doing if I had a physical store location, some sort of retail, or you could extend this in this local services, the tax guy, the accountant down the road, the insurance company. Wow, insurance companies, they have a lot of rules, so they might not go for that. But you can ask, see if they want to be part of that, right? Purchase 2 insurance products from us and we'll give you this bonus pack, right? Instead of just getting car insurance, you also get life insurance. Then you get that bonus pack. But you gotta get creative, right? Strategically thinking, what system can you get in place that extends just outside of your business a little bit, right? And you can only do that offensive move, attacking, trying to create business, if you hire that full-time cashier and you're just supporting them during rush hour to make sure there's great customer service, and then that gives you like 8 hours a day to go out and start your marketing efforts. And once your marketing starts paying off and the business starts doing better, then you might think, should I pay for an ad? Or should I now hire a part-time person to cover that rush hour? And that gives me the full day to do my marketing, to build my business, to tweak my business, right? I'm in the back room looking at the data. What's our best sales item? What can we do to tweak these things? How can we rotate our stock faster, right? So you gotta get creative. Every business has something that you can work to improve. Right? Too often, I feel like local businesses rely on just being there. Oh, we're here on this busy street and there's lots of people living around, and so people will see us, so we're not going to advertise. I mean, how many pizza flyers do you get in the mail each week, each month, each day, right? Pizza places can afford to do this direct mail marketing. Now, this isn't for every business. Pizza is really cheap to make. I talked to a guy who used to own a restaurant in my hometown, and he talked about how pizza, he was selling each pizza for like $25, $26 a piece. His cost, the materials he'd calculated, and he said, I'm not spending more than $5 on every pizza worth of materials, right? So he was clearing $20 a pizza, right? So I know pizza places can benefit from the economies of scale. That's where I do a lot of stuff, so I can buy in bulk. I can, have one person doing multiple things, right? The pizza parlor doesn't get a call and say, hey, I want a large pepperoni pizza. And then the cook says, yeah, no problem. So the cook mixes up the dough, makes a fresh batch of dough, puts it in the pizza, and then grates the cheese and makes the right amount of sauce to go on the pizza. And they start cutting some pepperoni to go on the pizza. They're not doing that, man. I delivered pizza for a very short time, and I was in the kitchen in the evening, like 3 or 4. The kitchen is covered in pizza dough. There are 50 pans of pizza dough ready to go. All the counters are covered. They're on the top of the cabinets. They're just everywhere. They have carts just full of pizzas ready to go. They're gonna grab that. They've pre-grated all the cheese for the day. They've cut up all the meat, and everything is out there on the prep table. Everything is there, right? They've been prepping for hours before the rush, right? And that's the way restaurants work. They do all the prep work so that when the rush happens, it happens fast, right? So you could have a smaller staff and they spend the morning. Yes, they're doing the occasional order, but they spend the morning just prepping. And then when it gets busy, they're just putting stuff together. And it's super fast, right? So, yeah. So this economy of scales. So if you can rotate your stock faster, sell your stock faster, you might be able to get a deal. As soon as you open a second location, you're asking for a deal again from the wholesaler, right? Like, I got 2 locations now that are going to be doing this, and I'm ordering this stuff from you. And they're going to like, okay, I'm going to take 3 cents off every item. You know, anything. That's 3 cents more that you weren't making before. And if you're selling 500 this month, 500 times 3 cents, 103. That's an extra $15. Okay, that might be a bad example, right? But I mean, 5 stores, and each store sells 500 items, right? 5 times 500, that's 2,500 items times 0.03 cents. That's still $75. I mean, like, Jesus, still a bad example. But the economy of scales allow you to ask for a discount, right? I'm guaranteed I'm going to sell 2,500 of these between my 5 locations this month. What kind of deal can you give me? The guy's going to come back and say, if you can purchase 3,000, I'll give you a better discount, right? Like, of course he's going to try to do that. And that means now you've got a lot of extra product. And if it's a really great product that you sell a lot of, then that's okay. It's totally fine. So it's so important to track your stock and what you're selling. When I worked at the family business, we used to have these traveling salesmen who would come through town, and they would have just a van, a minivan or whatever, and it was just loaded with stuff, just trinkets and toys and like lighters, you know, like these different items that a convenience store might need. So I would occasionally buy some stuff off them. A couple types of toys, a thing of lighters to sell to my customers. You know, we never did bubble gum because we didn't want bubble gum all over the laundromat, right? But you know, and that was just a tiny little thing. But this guy, he's probably purchasing, you know, 50 of these packs of lighters. He's getting them for like $2 a piece, and there's like 20 lighters in there, and he's selling me one for $5. You know, he's making $3 off that sale, and then I'm selling each lighter for 50 cents. So I'm making $10 off it, or whatever the numbers are, right? But the economy of scales allows us to buy more, get better deals, things like that. So certainly as your business grows, you're thinking, I need to get cheaper product. And a wholesaler is going to be happy if you're purchasing more product, but at a little bit less price. It's the same thing for him, right? The wholesaler now says, oh, I'm selling 3,000 units to this person, this business. Well, I'm selling 3,000 to 10 other businesses also. So now I can make an order for 50,000 and get to the new thing. So, you know, like, they're saving money too, being able to purchase more. God, why am I on this rant of economies of scale? What your brain is going, and you're thinking, how do I video game this? How do I, right? when you're grinding on a strategy game, right, it's very much like a business, especially the businesses like the Farmville, or my wife was playing like a baking game where she would have to bake different items and she would have to serve customers and get paid for serving the customers and get bonuses if she serves enough customers or whatever. You end up being a little business, right? And that's business. It's teaching you business, right? So a video game, especially a good strategy game, it's more of a mental gym as opposed to a time waster. If you can get excited about a video game and the strategy or the information that's involved in that game, and say, this is the exact strategy I need in my small business or in my job or whatever, right? Like, get excited. Think about your favorite game right now, and how can the strategies in that game help your small business or help your career or whatever, right? I downloaded Stellaris about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, and I'm slowly learning it. And the one thing I'm noticing is that I've got to have a lot of ships, because the ships, if I'm maxing out how many ships I'm allowed to have, it creates this influence. So the other aliens, or the other races in the galaxy, they'll be scared of me. Well, maybe not scared of me. Maybe they'll respect me. Maybe they'll think twice about treating me badly, right? I need to max out how many ships I have. Spaceships. That's like, that's offense in this game, right? So what am I doing with that? So is that my marketing? Am I getting a lot of ships out there to help me explore the galaxy and do things, right? I could say in Stellaris, creating more ships is me going live like this, right? I'm going live 5 times a week. So I could say I have 5 fleets of ships, because from each live, I generate shorts, reels, TikToks, right, whatever you want to call them. They're just short clips that are vertical, and I share those on all the social medias. So it's like, those are like my missiles, man, coming from my fleet. My main fleet is this live podcast, right? And as messed up as it is, some shows, I'm still generating torpedoes. They're going out there, they're shooting out onto all the other social medias, right? We could say that. That's my strategy. That's my marketing strategy. I'm not putting any money into this except for the tools I needed. Restream.io. That's a tool that I'm using, and it allows me to do these live streams on 5 different social medias, and then it allows me to send those clips out onto 5 social medias. One is different. Twitch is a different game, so I go to TikTok instead, right? And that's, Restream is like my mothership, my first fleet of ships, where my admiral, my captain, my commander is located, right? And that's me. I'm the commander of my fleet. Anyway, so we just got to think, how is this strategy for us, working for us? How can this video game translate into my business. You think about first-person shooter games. A lot of it is getting good enough to do those fast headshots at a distance, right? Or being able to do a special move, so if someone else starts shooting at you, you can dodge the bullets or whatever, or duck out of the way real quick, right? These sorts of things, you could say this is business. My headshot is every time one of my salespeople makes a sale, and they are working hard to get good at selling. Because every time they make a sale, that's another headshot that they're doing in the game. And what are they doing to get better? Well, they're doing the training. They're playing the game, they're getting used to the controllers, and that's the same as them taking the sales training, asking for feedback and advice, and just getting right into it, right? That's the same thing. So, yeah. And then you have the more literal sense of it. If all you want to do is play video games all the time, you might as well get on Twitch and get some followers and see if you can get some sponsor money or something, right? You could also be putting, like, if I was video gaming, I don't think my computer can handle it, because I tried to test once where I had my gameplay, and it was I was trying to do a split screen, and my computer like bogged down and almost died. Restream is a beast for me, so definitely have a gaming computer to handle this, because you need to run that video game and run your streaming stuff at the same time. So it's gonna be a little more expensive to get going with that career, right? But you could. So you're streaming on Twitch. I think if you use Twitch and their streaming thing, it's probably more, it's a better setup to play your game and to stream at the same time. The software is designed that way. But I'm recommending that you also just save those videos and you put it onto your YouTube. So you could stream live to YouTube, or every time you finish streaming on Twitch, download it and throw it onto your YouTube channel. Because the Twitch lives disappear after like 30 days or something like that, right? So you want to keep that evergreen content, and you just want to throw it on your YouTube. And you could throw it into a program like Restream and create the short clips out of your video games, right? And that will give you them headshots that you're sending out to your social medias, like TikTok. I want to go into some new topics here, but I'm gonna be right back. I have to run to the washroom. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. I'm back. I'm back, yo. As always, right? Ask your questions in the comments if you got some questions. Whether it's human resources, indigenous relations, small business marketing, career advice type of questions, or just crazy fun and games. If you have an urge to talk about something crazy today, go ahead, let's talk about it. That might be dangerously unscripted, so it goes along fine with the show. Where's my show notes? Okay, so number 3, new topics. Let me just review what the heck it says here. So so D&D at the office. How do you play Dungeons and Dragons at the office? Right? Oh, get creative. The idea is you're getting people to become creative. You're getting people to do certain tasks that are related to something fun. Of course, not everybody has to play. Don't force people to do weird things if they think it's weird, right? Role-playing games can build better teams because when you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, you usually have 4 or 5 or more. But if you get, the ideal game for Dungeons and Dragons is to have 1 dungeon master and 4 people playing characters. So dungeon masters running the game and the 4 characters are playing the game. Each of these characters is usually completely different. You have a wizard, you have a rogue, you have a fighter or barbarian or something like that. You have what's your third? There's so many different characters now. You could play anything, but you always kind of want a magic user. You kind of want that rogue thief character that can pick locks, find traps. You want a big tank, so you want a big fighter type character that has lots of strength, but maybe not too bright, So these sorts of things, and you want a diversity of races in the game, because each race, the dwarf, the elf, the human, the halfling, the half-orc, right, the tiefling, right, these characters, these races, they all bring other skills to the game. So when you think about your organization, do you have all the characters? Are all your character races in Dungeons and Dragons being represented? Or are all the people in your organization just humans? Human fighters. Do you have just 10 human fighters? No variety, no possibility of getting creative ideas. You're all just a bunch of yes people saying, oh, good idea, let's do that. And you're wondering why your business is not growing, not succeeding. Oh, I see some cat hair on me. Holy smokes. A growing business needs ideas. Ideas come from other people that have a wide life experiences, right? Like some people grew up in this country, some people grew up in that country, some people grew up in the country, some people grew up in a city, Some people had a cultural background of this culture, that culture. Some people were religious in that religion or that religion. Right? Now you got this big, I want to call it melting pot, right? But you've got all these life experiences at your disposal. Do you have the right characters in your organization? Or moving forward, are you hiring the right characters? So, let's say in my neighborhood, I own a store. Who should I be hiring to be in my store? All right, I'm indigenous. So I'll be running the store part-time. Should I be hiring a white person with no accent? Should I be hiring someone from the Somali community? In my neighborhood, the second language is Somali. Everybody speaks English, of course, but the second largest language group is Somali. So I should be hiring someone who speaks Somali and English, right? That's a logical choice in this neighborhood. And hopefully it's a local person who lives half a block away from the store, right? That's bonus. That's awesome. I'm giving a job to a local person who can speak the local language. So when those other members of that community come to my location, half the time they can speak to my worker in their own language. I mean, amazing. Amazing. That's what you want to do. And it gives you the cultural connection, right? So just thinking about the variety in your business. Because the role-playing side of a game, it's building a team. These characters now have to learn how to work together because they have all these different skills. So in different situations, they're going to automatically kick in. Who's in charge in that situation? Well, it's this person because they have that special skill, right? That's the kind of feel you want within your organization. And you're creating empathy and communication, and you're problem solving with all these different ideas, and it's just amazing. If you actually kind of low nerd ways to bring story and role playing into a team, right? So fantasize your reward system, right? So if you're thinking about a system that's a fun reward system, make the reward happens when certain characters do certain things, right? If this character does XYZ and that character does ABC, they get an individual reward, making their character better. And they also start earning team rewards when the whole organization grows or gets better. I mean, that could be fun. I'm nerding out a little bit, but I enjoy the idea of everybody in the business has their little avatar character, and they level up their character by doing certain things in the organization, right? Don't call in sick for a month. You get an experience point, right? Come in early every day for a month or a week, get an experience point, right? And You make it this funny thing. Get X amount of experience points, and you get a bonus, you get a prize, you get a discount, you get considered for a different role in the organization, right? Like it makes it fun because you're building your characters, and take some special training for the role you want. Oh, you get some experience points, right? And it creates this thing that you're building your characters, and take this special training, and every time you earn an experience point, you get double experience points, right? So whatever in your business is going to improve your employees' skills and or improve the whole organization as a whole, these are the bonuses that will multiply experience points. And the more experience points you get, well, the closer you get to bonuses. So you can have a monthly bonus, right? The person who gained the most experience points this month gets this bonus prize, whatever you think it might be, what might be fun. But everyone who got a certain amount of experience points automatically gets into a quarterly draw or a yearly draw, and you get these prizes, right? And you're building your character, and you're getting more opportunities to win prizes. You get a certain amount of experience points in the year, and you get this prize automatically. And of course, the person who got the most experience points always gets a bonus of something, prize, whatever, right? Something that makes it fun. And you could do this, you can call it any sort of game if you want, right? But the idea is that you're kind of gamifying the work. It's work. It can be boring. So let's make it a little more fun, right? Get people to say your name on a Google review. Oh my God, I was at the till and Ian was so helpful, and I got done real quick or whatever, right? I'll give you 5 stars, right? Get your name in the Google review, positive Google review, right? Get your name in a Google review with a 4 or 5 star rating. You get experience points, right? Like, so it's these little things. We should be able to tell with tills and things like that. I don't know what the ability is, but we log into our till and it shows every sale I make. I don't know, the money I brought in, and at a higher level, it says all the stock that everybody sold or whatever, or all the products or services that everyone sold. But say you had the biggest sale that week, you get experience points, right? Things like that, right? Just because you want people to be doing the upsell. Hey, you want this coupon pack for all these businesses in the neighborhood? Just purchase a couple more items. We'll get you up to that $80, and I'll give you that coupon pack, and you'll save a bunch of money. Like there's $100 worth of savings in this coupon pack, right? Just trying to upsell as much as possible, right? Who gave away the most coupon packs because they had these high sales? I don't know, you get experience points, right? Could be fun. Could be real fun. A real boring job could become fun. I always wish I had a little more creativity executive bosses. I know when I worked for the big video store outlet, the corporate office would put out these little, they were trying to gamify our experience. This is just as video stores were about to start their decline. This is when I was working at the video stores. You know, we already, you know, Netflix, I don't think they were quite streaming yet, but they were doing the mail-in movie rentals, right? So, and there was no late fees or anything like that. I never experienced Netflix while they were doing the physical. You just order your movies, they ship it to you, you get to watch them, you ship them back, right? And they started doing that, and then they started streaming. And that's where basically the video store, you know, demise started, because everyone started streaming all this stuff and everything went online for streaming. So it was just before that. And they were, you know, the corporate was coming up with these ideas. Oh, let's gamify this. And it was basically just who sold the most of these packages. And the packages were annoying. I remember so often some parent would come in and they would grab 4 DVDs for their kids to watch over the weekend, and I would have to say, oh, if you get a 5th DVD, it's actually cheaper and you'll get it for a full 5 days instead of just a couple days over the weekend, right? So they would have to go back, find some more movies, and come back to the till. Sometimes they would say, oh, okay, I got another one, I know which one, and they would run over there and they would hold up the line. And I was like, oh my God, another line disruption. I'm trying to be quick, I'm trying to be fast, trying to be good customer service, but they're forcing me to upsell to, you know, like they were renting 4 movies at $2 each for 3 days or something, right? And it ended up being 4 times 2, like $8, right? As opposed to go grab one more and you'll get all 5 for 5 days for $5 or something, right? Like, why would they do this deal? Why would you do that? After a while of working there, I was just really annoyed with these deals. I'm like, you're cutting our profits right here at the store level. Instead of me making $8 off 4 movies, you made it so I only earned $5, and the movies were out longer so nobody else could rent them. So the turnover on rentals was lower. Why is this? Why is this? It took me a while to realize they were making more money on late fees and damaged DVDs than they were on the rentals. What do you want, Jax? She's just down here meowing at me. No. I gave you lunch. Go eat your lunch. So, devious. We were seriously into end stage video stores when the video store knew they were making more money off late fees and damaged DVDs than they were with sales. So these deals were designed to have parents forget they rented them so that late fees could come in, and designed so that the DVDs would get damaged by the children, so then we would have to, we weren't even giving them a discount, right? We were charging them full price for that DVD, full retail price, right? When the store itself was probably getting a deal on them, right? So that $5 for 5 DVDs for 5 days turned into $20 in late fees and one lost or damaged DVD for another $25-30, right? It was just, that was their moneymaker. And I'm like, oh, this is disgusting. This is really disgusting. Why am I doing this, right? There's better ways. There's better ways to gamify your business than to like purposely sabotage it. And that's what they were doing. They knew, I think they could see the end of video stores at the corporate level. They saw things going on and they're like, let's just make as much money as we can. Let's make these ridiculous deals so that we can get late fees. And it was so hard. They weren't allowing us to reduce late fees. And they couldn't rent again until they paid their late fees. And we were losing customers because of that. And that was directly from these silly deals they were creating. And so before I left the video store, they finally gave us permission to reduce late fees up to 50%. Money grab. Just fix your business structure. I miss going to the video store. I do. Me and my wife, when we first got together, we were going to the video store. We would rent, 2 to 4 videos for the weekend, and we get our snacks. Oh, snacks. You always got to get snacks for movie night, right? And it's going to be 2 nights worth of movies because you're not going to watch 4 movies in one night. No, you need lots of snacks, right? So that's where the upsells should have been coming from, right? It should have been like, oh, rent 4 movies and you'll get a discount on your snacks or something like that, right? Like, that's better. That's better form than tricking people into late fees because they had the movie for so long, and that awesome deal was on kids' movies. So of course, the kids just had these movies in their bedroom playing on their little screen, and the DVDs are just all over the place getting scratched and messed up, right? So strange business structure. Strange. But I'm sure there's ways you can gamify your organization and make it fun to be there. Caveat: if you pay like shit, no matter what else you do to make the work environment fun, it's not gonna work, right? If you have employees making minimum wage in Edmonton, minimum wage in Alberta is $15 an hour, and living wage in Edmonton in 2024, the 2024 numbers were like $22.30 an hour. If you're not paying at least living wage, they're going to look for other jobs. They're not going to stay around. They're not going to give a sweet tweet about what you're trying to do to make the organization more fun, right? Get with it. Figure out the local living wage, and nobody in your organization should be making less than that per hour. So, let's see. What's this? Topic number 4 here. Game night as culture building. Picking the right games for your people. Right? This is kind of an extension of this. It is team building. Don't ever force a team building thing like, oh, everybody, we're playing Smash Up tonight at my house as the manager, and everyone's welcome, and it's mandatory. I'm like, F off, right? Nobody's going to a mandatory team building thing. That's a red flag, man. That's a red flag on the field. It's not about... It's not about making people happy because you're paying them, poverty wages. That's not what it's about. It's about trying to make happy employees happier. If your employees are already not happy, anything you're doing, gamifying, doing game nights, getting benefits, then that's not going to make them happy, right? I can't stress this enough. Money. You got to make money. We've decided in our society that we use money to pay for things. My rent, my mortgage, my gas bill, my power bill, my water and sewer, my internet, my cable, school supplies for my kids, food for my kids, right? Like these sorts of things, you're struggling. Your insurance on your vehicle. I mean, like, gotta change your tires at winter time, right? And either you gotta do it yourself, but do you have a second set of rims, or do you just have the tires, the rubber themselves, right? You're not switching that over yourself in your garage or in your parking lot in the apartment complex you live in. You're not doing that switch. You're not putting the new rubber onto your rim, right? And then putting that. You're not doing that yourself, unless you're a tire expert and you have all the tools, right? You're just not doing that sort of thing yourself. So if you're having some sort of team building after hours things, it is always going to be not mandatory. I've been in organizations where things were mandatory, and it was not fun to be there. I'm an introvert. I don't enjoy group parties and team building things or whatever, right? It's after hours. I don't enjoy it. We left early one time with good reason. My back was killing me, and every now and again I put out my back and I'm just dying. So we're trying to be at this staff party, and I'm just dying. I'm just dying. And we got through the meal and the gift exchange, and we're trying to play some fun games and things like that, the party game type stuff, right? And that's already just exhausting for me. But at the same time, my back is just every time I look at somebody funny, it goes right? When my back goes out, it goes out real bad. So we left early. I got in trouble after, like, a Monday, the next Monday or whatever, whenever I got back to work after that party. I got in trouble. I got in trouble for leaving the staff Christmas party early. Red flag. Now, I am absolutely grateful to have that job opportunity. I learned a lot. It helped me a lot. But, I appreciate it. But appreciation like that can only go so far. Right? When something like leaving the staff Christmas party early because you're in pain and you get in trouble for it, come on now. That's not good leadership. That's certainly not good HR skills, right? But I'm saying a game night because right now, we mentioned last week that you could put some games in your lunchroom and have like little card games, like the Gloom game I talked about. That could be a quick game that you could do over lunch, and you could have other games in there. And this would be like, oh, we've been playing this game for the last month, and we're doing a tournament for this game now that everybody knows how to play it. You know, we're serious now. We're gonna have a tournament, and everyone's invited to come out, and it's not mandatory, right? But you're extending this lunchroom game idea. So, you know, fast, low conflict games that work in 30 to 45 minutes. Those are the types of games you want in your lunchroom. You got to think about different games, like a co-op game where you're working together to do something, or it's competitive and you're all trying to beat each other. What game makes more sense in your environment, right? Can you spot a natural leader from watching people play games? Absolutely. Keep an eye on people playing games in the lunchroom or at the event, and they may surprise you. Somebody who you think is not a leader, and you've got them in a role where they're not, it's not leadership oriented, and they're not supervising anybody. But at game night, they become that mastermind, strategic person, and they love helping other people and help train other people on how to play the game, right? This person you could identify. You can keep an eye on them and think, oh, all right, they get excited about stuff and they love teaching people and training people. Yeah, let's put them in a supervisor role, or let's give them some additional training to supervise people, and eventually they can move into a management position, right? Ta-da! And you're just watching them play games. Possible. You can also identify people that are grouchy, negative Nellies, poor sports. They get mad at every little loss. And if that is your general manager or one of your managers, you're thinking, oh my God, this is why nobody likes them at work. If this is the way they act at game night, right? And it's a way to identify people. And when I talk about people applying for jobs, you don't talk about your personal stuff. You don't share anything personal at all. You always revert to questions back to your profession, your work experience. Did you tell us about you, or like the question, tell us about yourself? The answer is, oh, after I finished my university degree, I started working in this industry, did that, and I moved over to this company, and I feel it's time for more growth, so that's why I applied for your company, right? You didn't tell them anything else. I got 3 kids, I got a house, I divorced my wife, I'm on my second wife, my vehicle keeps breaking down, I had to take the bus to get here. I mean, I live in this neighborhood on the other side of the city. I mean, that's all stuff for people to be biased about, right? But after you get into the organization, it's like no holds barred, right? I want to, as the owner, as the manager, I want to learn everything about you so that I can better identify you to say, promotion, not promotion, let's move you to a different job. You're doing better with these types of clients than these types of clients. You're better in the back office than in the front office, right? Or the opposite, you're better in the front office than in the back office, right? And we learn these things from being around our team and seeing them in slightly different work environments, right? Lunchtime, game time, employee gatherings, non-mandatory, right? How are they interacting with people, what are the stories you can start hearing from them, the personal information, right? You might thinking one of your employees is just kind of a lazy person, not really a lazy person, but they do the work, but they don't seem excited about it. And you end up finding out that they're at some game night, they talk about how they've been taking online training courses on how to be a manager, right? Opportunity, you get them to become a manager in your organization, or you start talking about the possibility of them becoming a manager in your organization. Suddenly, they are more interested and more dedicated in your company because they see a possible opportunity. Once they're done this training course, you might help them with other training courses. And then after all that, there's a possibility of moving them into a manager role, right? Suddenly they're excited about the organization. And you didn't know anything about this. This person is quiet. They do their job. They go home. They come back to work. You don't really know anything about them. But then you see them at the staff party and they're talking about their life and things they're doing. Right now you're getting the intel you need. And all this stuff is a big no-no when you're trying to apply for the job. But after you've applied for the job, yeah, your boss is going to want to know all this stuff. And the idea is to try to fit you into a better spot. Some bosses are going to take it all negative and just try to get rid of you, find someone else, right? Yes, there is a danger of that. But if you can truly say you're in a good work environment, then sharing your personal information and your hopes and dreams, your 5-year plan, I mean, that's a good thing. It can be a good thing. It is so hard. Once a person's been in an organization for a certain amount of time, they have organizational knowledge. They may not be able to do every role in the business, but they understand their place and they might understand a lot of the different roles. So that person is easier to train or move into a different role than it is to grab someone fresh off the streets, maybe with no education, just so you can pay them less, right? It's going to be easier to train that person with the organizational knowledge because they understand their position. So it's just like, oh, okay, I just got to change up what I'm doing. And they become a resource to help train other employees, right? Once an employee's been there. And so, yeah. Gaming, lunchroom games, man. So I want to talk about this game for the next little bit. This game called Smash Up. This is a Paul Peterson game. The shuffle building game of total awesomeness. Like, look at all that crazy stuff, right? So the idea is you create a deck of cards to play the game, and I'm not going to talk too much about the gameplay, but depending on the cards you picked, the game plays differently, right? Let's go into some of these. So the first thing I pulled out is unicorns and magical horses, right? These types of cards, unicorns. If you have played another minion here, draw a card, right? Play on a base, ongoing. At the start of your turn, if you have 2 or more minions here, draw a card, right? And these are right, it's unicorns and magical horses. While another of your minions is here, this minion has +1 power, right? So these are kind of unicorn creatures. So that's half your deck. The other half of your deck is ninjas and assassins. You may destroy a minion on this base. This is Ninja Master. Tiger Assassin. You may destroy a minion of power 3 or more on this base. So kind of the gameplay is these bases are put out and they have numbers, and you're trying to get the points from these bases, so you're trying to claim the base, and that's why it's talking about these bases. So these bases, you get points, you get bonuses, you get strange effects and things like that, and they're all just kind of crazy, right? But your decks you create, you pick ninjas and unicorns and you shuffle them together, and this is your deck for the game or the round, right? And you just it's absolute craziness because of the different types of decks. These are the cats. Right, there's these cute cats, scary cats. This is 9 lives. Destroy one of your minions, play an extra minion, right? Cat comes back, 9 lives. And this other set, oh my god, what is this? This is robotic dinosaurs, man. I don't even know what the theme is called, but it's dinosaurs covered in technology, tech dinosaurs or something. 1 minion gains plus 4 power until the end of your turn. I mean, they just have craziness. They're just crazy cards, and they're doing crazy things, and you're taking 2 of these crazy decks and you're putting them together. This game is so fun. Like, you separate out all the different types of decks and you put them out, and everybody at the start of each game chooses which decks they want to use. What is this? I don't even know what this is. This is pirates. So we got pirates over here. So crazy pirate things. And you know what's over here? Want to know what's over here? My god. Aliens. These are like Martian alien. You know, like Mars invades type stuff. You know, you have the Martians and the unicorns, right? Or the Martians and the ninjas, right? And it just ends up making just these crazy decks, and it's very fun, because every time you play a new game, you can have just a totally different deck. And there's expansion packs, so you can get all kinds of expansions, right? You got kitty cats, fairies. Oh, mythic horses. That's the name of that deck, mythic horses. And princesses. Oh my god, princesses, right? I think this was these were the expansion decks we had purchased, and there's just so many. Like, there's wizards and just all kinds of craziness that you could create a deck about. Oh, here's the fairies. And what's this? I don't even understand. Oh, these are like gnomes and gnomish creatures. You see the symbol for the card, it's a 4-leaf clover. So it's like lucky gnome type things, right? Oh, leprechaun. Leprechauns and gnomes. So, little elf creatures, I guess. But this game, this is a quick game that could be sitting in your lunchroom and you could have some fun with, right? There's the expansion we purchased. This is pretty. So it was the prince. It was these ones here. It was the princesses and the cats. Pretty. And the main smash-up game, right? The rule book's there. But dinosaurs, aliens, ninjas, robots, pirates, wizards. Right? There's just a ton of these decks, and it's pretty easy to learn because you pick your decks and then you put out a certain amount of those bases, and then you're trying to claim the bases to get the points. And it's a fun little game because it's craziness. Who doesn't want to play a game that's a little bit of craziness, right? And you're clashing against other players, but in just this fun way. So smash up, man. That's a smash up game. So let me see here. So just looking for the smash up games. Oh, it just looks like there's a ton of. Oh my God, there's a Disney edition, there's a Marvel edition. Ooh. Yeah, I would love to get a few more of these expansion packs, right? Like that's pretty awesome. Let me see here. I just want to give you a link so you can go look at it yourself, see if you like that smash up game. It's a fun game. There's just so much craziness going on with that game. Right, okay. Just gonna let me put an image on it, and then you'll be able to see the be able to see it there. There's the link. This is the link to it on Smash Up, and when you go there, you can see all the expansion packs that go with it. It's pretty cool. The box you get, it looks giant, but it's half empty because you have to purchase the expansion packs to go with it. It's actually pretty cool, the expansion packs. So I would definitely get some expansion packs at the same time. That's pretty cool. Easy game that could be in your lunchroom. Fun drinking game if you're having a staff night out at somebody's house. Drink responsibly, please. But I mean, if you're gonna play games, they must be fun, crazy games, not difficult games. The Gloom last week, right? The Gloom 2nd edition game, also on Amazon. I mean, that is a fun game, man. So I would definitely go out and get that. It's like these quick games that you can play. I got a couple other games I want to talk about down the road. I'm just thinking they're kind of these card games that are kind of easy, right? And that's the type of game you kind of want in your lunchroom, things like that. You don't want Risk, which could be like a 6-hour game if you're trying to play Risk. I mean, that's not a lunchroom game. Monopoly, not a lunchroom game. Monopoly sucks to start with. I used to get so mad when I was a kid playing it because nobody would do deals with me. Bastards. Anyway, Monopoly makes people angry. It does. So I don't think you should play Monopoly. In place of Monopoly, I would say play Cash Flow. Robert Kiyosaki's Cash Flow. Even though you might not like his advice or how he invests, what he does, his game is amazing to teach people about assets and cash flow and how to get out of that rat race, right? So you're not really fighting against each other, you're just playing yourself. And it's so cool because it's a balance sheet you're using as your play card that you write on, right? It's like the size of a Yahtzee card, and it's showing your assets and your liabilities and how much money you make when you go past go. Right? You're not trying to beat each other. The first person who gets out of the rat race and doubles their buyout money, yeah, they win the game, but it's not an attack your opponent type game. It's everybody trying to help everybody. You kind of get into, oh my, you should try this, or you should certainly do that, or whatever. So anyway, some games that you can play at the work. So I think we're done with questions. Please don't ask me any more questions now. We're gonna go. Remember that if you need to get a hold of me, go to all my links here on my link tree, and the QR code is here, but the QR code is always up in the top corner of the show, so you can go there. You need to buy my $7 ebook on how to stop staff drama in 5 days. Go get that. That's a good starting point for a small business owner that doesn't have the money for an HR professional, right, to come in and do stuff for you. And certainly if you need to get a hold of me, my calendar link is there. So go in there and book a discovery call with me if you think you need some HR services or some Indigenous relations services. And we can chat some more. And if you want to be on the show, if you want to come on the show, I think we could accommodate just about any business. If you're a small business owner, any business, we can pick a day of the week that you want to come on the show and we talk about your business. You get some free advertising for your business, and we get to chat about how to improve your business in some way, whether we're talking HR, Indigenous relations, small business marketing. I mean, if you are a game store owner, I'd love to have you in on a Friday like this, and we can talk about your best-selling games and just talk about your business, right? So, great. Anyway, everyone have an amazing weekend. I love you all. I'll see you next Monday.